up this morning at 7. I was getting picked up at 7:45. Patrick, my fiance, tried to pull me by my waist over this morning in bed, and I was like, no, baby, we don't got time for that this morning. I got to get to the prayer breakfast, and I got to be on time. And a little TMI.
Yes, Congresswoman Nancy Mace at the prayer breakfast talking about how she, waking up in bed with her live-in boyfriend, not her husband, tried to pull her over to, a little mogambo, and didn't work out for him. She had to head off to the prayer breakfast. And then she told the story at the prayer breakfast, which, politics, it's a complicated business. It's really not for everyone. Well, happy Friday to you, and welcome to Nancy Mace. It's a wonderful story she told. Perhaps the venue was not the perfect venue for the story, but, you can't be expected to get everything right, check every box every day at every event. It's a busy life being a member of Congress, you know how that is. I have a great many stories to share with you today. And after wrestling some technical difficulties to the ground here, my email and so on, I think we're off to the races. And we've got, we got a lot of stuff. It's warm in Washington, D.C. today. I was listening to the weather this morning. The weather, and I'm terrified. I can't tell you how frightened I am by all of it. I'm looking, and really, if there were a line forming for Kool-Aid over there, I might just step into the line because I'm so terrified. It's frightening. The weather report in Washington, D.C., they said it's going to be close to 100 degrees, but it's going to feel like 110. See? They have this feels like temperature. Here's the thing about the temperature. Whatever the temperature is, that's what it feels like. That's what a temperature is, you see? That's but it's 99 degrees, but it feels like 110. Well, that's about the stupidest thing I ever heard. Then I guess the thermometers don't work as advertised. Is that right? Because isn't the thermometer supposed to tell you, like, how hot it feels? No, this is just how hot it is. How hot it feels is now a different metric. And I assume that we're keeping records based on the new metric, because growing up when I was a kid, when it was 99 degrees, it was just 99 degrees. And you know what they told you it felt like? 99 degrees. And now they've changed all that. They've thrown out that old-fashioned 20th century thing where it's 99 degrees and it feels like 99 degrees. Now it's no, you see, Chris, here on the thermometer, I'm pointing to the thermometer now, it says it's 99 degrees, but the feel-like temperature, this is what it feels like. It's the feels-like temperature is 110 because it feels hotter than it is.
The climate crisis is a crisis born of injustice.
And Hillary Clinton the other day made note of the fact that a number of headlines across the country, including the Washington Post, were screaming that it was so hot in Phoenix, Arizona in the summertime. How hot is it? That it was breaking a record, 110 degrees for some number of days in a row, which broke the record for the last time Phoenix, Arizona had 110 degrees for X number of days in a row. Now, I got to ask you, was that the real temperature, or was that the feels-like temperature that they were working with there? Because, again, if I go look at how hot it was when I was a kid in Chicago, Illinois, the temperatures we're going to compare today's temperatures to were real temperatures. They were just what the thermometer said, and now they've got the feels-like temperature. So it's different. But Hillary Clinton, the other day, she latched onto some radical left-wing group. It's about, American progress in the wrong direction, but it's progress. And the Center for American Pride, and they posted headlines, the Washington Post and others, being hysterical about the weather in Phoenix, Arizona in July in the summertime. And Hillary Clinton said, hot enough for you? Blame a MAGA Republican. Better yet, vote them out of office. Because if you vote MAGA Republicans, and they're everywhere, those MAGA Republicans, vote them out of office, then the weather will cool off in the summertime, and it will be warmer in the wintertime. because the Democrats are kind of like God, except that dog is their co-pilot. But the Democrats, they can change the climate of the planet. They can make the weather nicer. You just have to vote for them and not Republicans, especially those MAGA Republicans, because those MAGA Republicans make it hotter in Phoenix in the summertime because they didn't vote for Joe Biden's climate bill last year. It passed anyway. And interestingly, as the Republicans had suggested at the time, it actually had no effect on the climate or the weather, and it's still, record-breaking hot in Phoenix, Arizona, all the way to Tacoma, Philadelphia, Atlanta, L.A. And but the Democrats, they blame the Republicans for the weather, and they claim out in public that if you vote for them, certainly implied in Hillary Clinton's tweet, that the weather will be better. You vote for them, better weather. Vote for Republicans, worse weather. See, that's what they're claiming. Now, if you believe that, you should probably be denied the right to vote because...
Hi, my name's Hillary Gump. You can call me Hillary Rodham Gump.
She's one of the funniest people ever in American history and certainly in American politics. Well, just to look at her anyway. And then, remember those times she fell down and stuff? That was some of that. And she was driving around in that black ambulance. They had that van waiting for her. Big, strong men with guns had to throw her in the back of the van and take her someplace for... That was probably global warming, too, wasn't it, at the September 11th memorial? As good. But I digress. I just went off on that digression. Please excuse me. It's only because I heard the weather report this morning, and I said, wow, it's going to be 99, but it's going to feel like 110. Yeah. How about in my refrigerator? Because inside my refrigerator, there's a little digital thermometer thing on the top when you open the door. Look inside, and it says, 32 degrees or something like that. And I wonder if that's the real temperature or if no, the temperature inside your ice box, inside your refrigerator is, I don't know what it is, 42 degrees. There is a digital thing, 42 degrees, but it feels like 38 degrees. What are you talking about? Are you people insane? And then there was the hearing on gender yesterday, on transgender, and there was a young woman, and I need to correct myself because yesterday I said that Chloe Cole was 18 years old, and she was explaining what the Democrats did to her, mutilating her physically with surgery and pharmaceuticals, and truly outrageous what happened to Chloe Cole when she was 12 and 13 years old and then 15 years old. And I will explain. I explained some yesterday, and we talked about her yesterday, but I want to update you because the hearing was ongoing yesterday when I wrapped up the big radio broadcast. And I gotta tell you, this Chloe Cole, young woman, I said she was 18. The reality, yesterday was her 19th birthday. So she turned 19 on the date that she was testifying about what the Democrats did to her physical being, to her gender, and I've got an update for you on that. And the Democrats are so crazy. And Jerry Nadler, Wadler, he, boy, what a guy. And he was there yesterday. And he was yelling at Republicans because he demands that men should compete as women in sports and boys should compete as girls in sports because they are not bright people. They're not intelligent people. They're not serious people. They're not the party of science. They're the party of political science, of anti-science, and of science fiction, of course. They are the party of science fiction. It's truly extraordinary. So I'll get into that because, honestly, the hearing on this young woman, Chloe Cole, should get the Nobel Prize for medicine. If Barack Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize and then went on to bomb more countries than any president since World War II, then I think Chloe Cole should get the Nobel Prize for medicine and maybe the Peace Prize too. And what other prizes should she get? She should get a Pulitzer Prize too. She should. She was great. And I've got audio of her yesterday and these very often dim-witted members of Congress. They're dim of wit, not smart people. Very, very often. Also, under the header, and you can I have my stories sheet in front of me, my stories list for today, Friday, July 28th. And the main headline, and you can get it. You can get it by going to chrisplant.com. And we will post our story sheet today as well at our Twitter and our Facebook and so on. So you can check out all the stories that we're working with today and sharing with you today. And you can share them with your friends and family. Many of them perhaps don't want to hear about what's really going on, but that's all right. It might benefit them anyway. Biden remains useless is our number one header. Jill Biden, this is quite a story. Jill Biden's ex-husband. Jill Biden has an ex-husband, and you may remember that he explained that they were married when Jill met Joe Biden, and they were having an extramarital affair when the ex-husband found out about it, because the Biden family always keeps it classy. You know, like Hunter Biden having a sexual affair with his brother's widow, and that wasn't good enough, so expanded that to his brother's widow's sister. So he's having sex not at exactly the same time, but in the same week, you know, and because they're keeping it classy. And Jill Biden's ex-husband, who claims she cheated on him with Joe, slams, quote, Biden crime family, end quote, for targeting him and Trump, despite Hunter Biden's tax crimes, and brands the president dangerous. This is Jill Biden's ex-husband. Love. Isn't love grand? So, and also there's a big bank based in Delaware, MBNA. It's a major bank, one of the biggest on the planet. The MBNA tales when Joe and Hunter Biden were super cozy with a Delaware bank. The Washington Examiner has the story, and the Washington Post does not, because it's not a newspaper. It's the opposite of a newspaper. Hunter Biden shouldn't go to prison for violating an arbitrary gun law. The nice people at Reason, I like the people at Reason, but I may have to take issue with some of this. Hunter Biden shouldn't go to prison. Maybe he shouldn't actually go to prison for violating the arbitrary gun law, but he should be treated like everybody else is treated. Also, we've got a fun story because during the course of my Newsmax television program, 9 p.m. Eastern time on Newsmax, Monday through Friday, during my Newsmax show, Chris Plant, the Right Squad, and it's a lot of fun. You should join us. And Newsmax's Chris Plant, they love their colons. This is the radical left-wing extremists at Mediaite. Newsmax's Chris Plant, Biden's dog is anti-law enforcement. Well, what was your first clue? When he bit 10 Secret Service agents and Secret Service officers, that might have been a clue. It's an anti-law enforcement dog. Anybody can see that. And then Media Matters also attacked me. It's pretty funny. They made me laugh. Newsmax host says Joe Biden's dog is anti-law enforcement dog. It's a Democrat dog. That's Media Matters for America attacking me. I want to play for you what I said on the Newsmax show. And then the Daily Beast, radical left-wing extremists. Newsmax host accuses Biden's dog of being anti-law enforcement. Well, you know, they all do the same thing, don't they? It's a little circle fest in a hot tub. And they're an appalling bunch, the fake media, the left-wing media. Did you see this dimwit Mehdi Hassan on MSDNC? And he tweeted out that anybody that suggests that there is a left-wing propaganda arm of the Democrat Party in the media is just spreading conspiracy theories, right? Either that or paying attention. Those are the two possibilities. Senator Dianne Feinstein had a moment of confusion during a hearing yesterday. We've got that for you. President Trump faces new charges on the classified documents thing. Hunter Biden still roams free, and Joe Biden still not facing any charges. But more charges for President Trump since last we met. Pretty amazing stuff. Ron DeSantis attacks Congressman Byron Donalds, which I think was ill-advised. I've got an update on Anheuser-Busch. They're laying off hundreds because of this liberal woman named Alyssa Heinerscheid and her brilliant idea for marketing Bud Light with a transgender man who says he's a woman when he's not. and saying she wanted to get rid of their frat boy image with Bud Light. Then she made $27 billion disappear. Honestly, who's that magician that made the Statue of Liberty disappear? Yeah, David Copperfield. David Copperfield has got nothing on this woman. She made, that was good. The Statue of Liberty disappeared. That was pretty cool. But she made $27 billion disappear. That's pretty amazing, too. The hottest July ever signals, and what do you hear? The head of the United Nations weighed in on global warming yesterday, and Democrats started throwing themselves off of tall buildings. It was something. We are at 888-630-9625. Hey, it's Chris Plant, excited to tell you about our July 2024 Listener Sea Cruise. We'll be sailing around the British Isles, visiting Scotland and Ireland. Please join us. Book by this July 31st for extra savings. Visit ChrisPlantCruise.com. All right. You bet your bottom dollar. Yeah, what do you hear the transgender Democrat push for children, just for children? They're coming for the children. Keep them away from the children. Just a few years ago, this would have been illegal. Now it's entirely in the mainstream because the Democrats have secured information dominance in our culture, and they're demented. I'm tapping my right temple with the tip of my right index finger. Let's go to the telephones, Michael. Let's go to Mike calling from Middletown, New Jersey. That's the Garden State, as I understand it. Mike, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Very nice to talk to you, Chris, and love the Newsmax show.
Thank you.
I just have a really simple question for you, and that is for the Democrats. If we can control weather by our actions, making it warmer, then why don't we end all drought in this world by making it rain tomorrow?
Well, is that a trick question?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we could do a Native American rain dance. I've heard that works.
Everybody likes to do a rain dance. Everybody likes Native American dance. Get a drum, get some stuff that makes noise, and jump around in circles and see if we can make it rain. You know, we can seed clouds. And here's another thing I keep wondering, Mike, and I lived in California in the 1980s, and they had droughts, and they tell you to use water sparingly and stuff. I'm like, the largest body of water on the planet Earth is right out your window. Maybe you should start desalinating,
That's right. Well, I hear maybe Pocahontas can do the rain dance for us. I mean, she is Native American after all.
We should have Pocahontas do a rain dance. Where should she go to do that? Maybe right in the center of the country. Maybe Pocahontas of Harvard University in the U.S. Senate. It is amazing. They say they can control the weather. And if you vote for them, the weather will get better, right, Mike? What you're saying, you don't believe that?
No, I'm a little skeptical.
Little skeptical about that. It's healthy to be skeptical when it comes to people making claims that Julius Caesar never would have made. These people are nuts.
Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you?
Yeah, there's a headline today. Doctors are treating patients who fall down because they're burning themselves on the ground. It's so hot. How hot is it that people are falling down, and when they hit the ground, they're burning themselves? That's what the story is. So they're treating people for burns because they fell down, and the ground is like a frying pan, In fact, Joe Biden falls down so much, doctors say you could fry an egg on him because he doesn't get up real fast, and it's like that. But in the meantime, the Washington Post, McConnell back at work gives no insight on freeze up. Experts, the Washington Post, they talk to experts. Experts signal concern. They use signals. They use semaphore this time to signal concern to the Washington Post from across the street, and they did some international sign language. They signaled concern as 81-year-old has faced multiple health scares. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell resumed his typical legislative duties after abruptly freezing mid-sentence. How do you abruptly freeze? Is there a way of gradually freezing? after he gradually froze. That's what Joe Biden's doing, I guess, gradually freezing. After he abruptly freezing mid-sentence at a Wednesday news conference. And it was an unusual moment. I shared it with you yesterday in the audio rendition of that because we're on the radio, so I can't do the video. I can share it with you on Al Gore's amazing internet. Peace be upon him. But there are stories all over the place that Mitch McConnell, 81 years old, has fallen, taken a couple of falls. No word on whether he burned himself hitting the ground, but he's taken a couple of falls. And the media is very upset because they weren't told about it. Because you got to tell them everything except about the Biden family. Don't tell them anything about the Biden family. If you do tell them anything, they'll keep it a secret because, they're the news media. All right, let's get to the Donald Trump additional charges yesterday. Another indictment against President Trump because Democrats, they're the left. Keep this in mind: the Democratic Party isn't, and they're not liberals. They're the left. The left uses the judicial systems around the world and various third world banana harvesting countries to prosecute and persecute their political enemies. And sometimes their friends who become their political enemies. It's like that, Twilight Zone episode with the, kind of a Cuba thing with Peter Falk where, well, never mind. I'll just move on. It's a great one where he becomes the bad guy. It's, the left is the bad guy. The left is definitely the bad guy. And everywhere in the world, and they have been for a century, they've murdered more people than radical Islam could ever hope to murder, unless they got a whole bunch of nuclear weapons. Here's the lead story, front page, above the fold, upper right-hand corner in the Washington Post, where democracy died in the darkness that they provided. And the headline is, U.S. adds to Trump charges, alleges effort to delete footage in his own home, security footage in his own home. And you can't do that. Going to put you in prison for deleting security footage on your own security camera in your own home. Because Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles. What was the name of Adolf Hitler's political party again? The National Socialist German Workers' Party, right? And we call them the Nazis for short because it's easier, Nazis. But the Socialist Workers' Party of Adolf Hitler, they persecuted their political enemies too. It's, we knew they were national. In fact, they became international, didn't they? My father had to go over and drop bombs on them and shoot them up with machine guns. But we knew they were national. And we knew they were German, National Socialist, so they're socialist. And they're German, we knew they were German. Workers. So wait a minute, they were a Socialist Workers' Party? Yes, they were a Socialist Workers' Party. Yes, they were. So the Washington Post, carrying on the traditions of the international left. Prosecutors announced additional charges against Donald Trump on Thursday in his alleged hoarding and hiding of classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. Were there any additional charges against Joe Biden for his hiding and hoarding of documents in his garage behind the Corvette or at his house in Delaware or at an office above a steakhouse on Capitol Hill? Any additional charges for Joe Biden where all his classified documents resided, including that office on Capitol Hill that was funded in part by the Chinese Communist government? Isn't that great? So more charges for hoarding and hiding classified documents at Mar-a-Lago, accusing the former president and a newly indicted aide. This is like, wait till you hear this. It's Carlos Danger. We got Carlos Danger back in the news today. And a newly indicted aide of trying to keep security camera footage from being reviewed by investigators and bringing the total number of federal charges against Trump to 40, like 40 days and 40 nights. Trump already faced 31 counts of illegally retaining national defense information. He was the president of the United States, after all. But federal prosecutors, led by special counsel Jack Smith, have added a 32nd to the list. So there you go. That count centers on a a now infamous conversation Trump allegedly had at his golf club and summer residence in Bedminster, New Jersey. In July of 2021, what was Joe Biden doing then? Was he collecting millions from Romania or China? Focused on what has been described by others as a secret military document concerning Iran. Well, the cat's out of the bag now, huh? Now we know everything that's going on. That's okay. The Obama-Biden administration made sure with their friend John Boltneck Kerry, who scares the children at Halloween and really all year long, doesn't he? They made sure that Iran could continue to enrich uranium and spin centrifuges and keep nuclear programs going and military installations that would not be inspected by the United Nations. That's what the Obama-Biden administration did with Iran. I think that's worse than talking about a document at a country club in New Jersey. I'm old-fashioned when it comes to nuclear weapons, though. In that conversation, which was recorded, who was recording it? The FBI? Were they spying on the former president of the United States and recording him? Was it the NSA? Who was recording it? We need to know who was recording it. Transparency, you gang of third world criminals. In that conversation, which was recorded, Trump said, quote, "As president, I could have declassified it, ... That means they're cutting stuff out when they put the ellipsis there. That means that they're omitting a portion of the quote. And remember, the most insidious power the media has is the power to ignore. Now I can't, President Trump said, but this is still secret. He said, aha, you're busted. You have a secret document. He's the former president of the United States. I'm really not overly concerned about the national security implications of this. But, it's another excuse to break out the rope and the tree, which the Democrat Party has a long history of doing, going back to pre-Civil War days and then Civil War days and then post-Civil. They are the party of lynching and of racism and of standing in schoolhouse doors. The new indictment also levels accusations of a broader effort by Trump and some of those around him to cover their tracks as the FBI sought to retrieve highly classified documents. The FBI was real busy doing that. Were they real busy hunting down Joe Biden's classified documents at that office over a steakhouse on Capitol Hill or any place else? So the documents kept at Mar-a-Lago, Trump's home and private club in South Florida, long after his presidency ended, and then the documents long after Joe Biden's vice presidency ended. It's interesting the double standard that is applied here. The lynch mob that is the FBI and the Department of Justice, so-called. Speaking of which, did you see, we tweeted it out yesterday, and it's fun, because actually a law enforcement friend shared with me the meme making the rounds yesterday about the FBI, and it's an FBI, appears to be an FBI agent with the blue FBI windbreaker, and on the back in big yellow letters, FBI, below that, following Biden's instructions. The new name for the FBI. We have, at the Chris Plant store, we have the Fascist Bureau of Intimidation, right? The FBI T-shirts, and somebody made up a meme. Looks like an FBI agent with the blue windbreaker. FBI following Biden's instructions. That's pretty good. I like that, and that did come from a law enforcement friend of mine yesterday. The new indictment charges that Trump and two aides, Walt Nauta, who was already charged with other funny things, and Carlos de Oliveira, right? And they requested another Trump employee, quote, delete security camera footage at the Mar-a-Lago to prevent the footage from being provided to a federal grand jury. Is that right? Well, Trump has publicly said he was happy to hand over the footage in response to a grand jury subpoena. Others close to him, unnamed here, have said he was upset about it. Well, that's of course he was upset about it. Why wouldn't he be upset about it? That doesn't mean that he did anything to delete. But they're going after, and it's not Carlos Danger. Carlos Danger was Anthony Weiner. That was his online porn name or something like that, while he was courting underage girls, as the Democrats are so fond of doing. so many different occasions because, the sexualization of younger and younger children is their bag baby. There's no doubt about that. So the indictment, now they're going after this new guy, Carlos, who is not Carlos Danger, Carlos de Oliveira. And Carlos de Oliveira has worked with President Trump for years and years. I think it says 20 years or something like that. But the Carlos works at Mar-a-Lago, and he works for Trump. And they're saying they also indicted him. This made me laugh. They say he might also be guilty of moving boxes. President Trump had hundreds of boxes, I believe, like those file folder boxes. And in them, according to the radical left, there may have been, 120 some odd classified things that were classified. Not as many as Hillary Clinton had on her server that she scrubbed and wiped and used bleach bid on and had her flying monkeys smash their communications devices with hammers, their Blackberries and stuff, smash them with hammers. But pay no attention to that because don't you know who she is? She's a Democrat. But now Carlos is... he's got a spleen. He's got lots of spleen to do. June and July of 2022. He was recorded helping Walt Nauta move boxes around Mar-a-Lago. Well, those that would be among their duties because, they're employees and they might move boxes around. Is it illegal to move boxes inside your own home? Because that is apparently now a charge in the United States of America if you're not a part of the Democrat Party. Recorded helping Walt Nauta move boxes around Mar-a-Lago and allegedly had conversations with others about security camera footage. The people who spoke on the condition of anonymity to the Washington Post to discuss secret grand jury proceedings. Still no leaks from the Hunter Biden grand jury proceedings. Not a leak, but every day more leaks from these filthy, corrupt, rotten people that talked to the Washington Post, the New York Times, CNN, ABC, CBS, NBC, the Des Moines Register. And they couldn't talk because it's illegal for them to discuss. And yet there are no investigations. During the Obama administration, they prosecuted people more than any other administration in the history of the country. They prosecuted people for talking to the press because when the Obama White House saw one of these items in the paper, says the people who spoke to the Washington Post on the condition of anonymity to discuss secret grand jury proceedings. Well, you know what the Obama administration did? They went to the FBI and the NSA. They gathered up the phone records of the reporters at the newspapers. They found out who leaked it to them, and then they prosecuted them for it. Because Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles. Yeah, so they spoke on the condition of anonymity. And now they're going after Carlos because he might have moved boxes. And then, you see, the grand jury wanted the videos, and they allege, it's all alleged. It's pretty amazing stuff. So that is the latest there. But wait, there's more, because the Democrats, the charges are many. President Trump has responded. He said, "It's election interference at the highest level. The charges are ridiculous. This is prosecutorial misconduct used at a level never seen before." President Trump said, "I am way up as a Republican and way up in the general election, and this is what you get." He's suggesting quite deliberately that this is a political persecution rather than a legitimate legal prosecution. The additional charges: willful retention of national defense information. That was already charged. Conspiracy to obstruct justice. Withholding a document or record. Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden. Corruptly concealing a document or record. Isn't that the same as the last one? Concealing a document in a federal investigation. Scheme to conceal false statements and misrepresentations. Altering, destroying, mutilating. Mutilating like you do to children's genitals. Or concealing an object. Corruptly altering, destroying, mutilating, or concealing a document, record, or other object. Isn't that the same as the other one that I just read? And they're suggesting a conspiracy. Conspiracies all over the place. It's a big, vast conspiracy. So President Trump, more charges. Joe Biden still, walking around the White House bumping into furniture like a jellyfish. Yeah, the Democrats pushing for transgenderizing children, the genital mutilation of children, is a Democrat Party program, an ongoing effort by them. And this lunatic at MSDNC, Mehdi Hassan, suggesting that the poor left wing, they don't have a propaganda arm, and they really need one in the United States. It's just the terrible conservatives, you know, they have all this propaganda, and the Democrats don't. What planet Mehdi lives on, I don't know. What boulder he's been living under, but we'll get to that. Let's go to the telephones. What do you say? Let's go to JR calling from Springfield, Virginia. JR, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, good morning, Chris. Thanks for taking the call. The gentleman that took my initial call, I told him if it wasn't for you guys at WMAL, I start my day with O'Connor Company, and I end with Mr. Levin. And I got to tell you, you're the only people there so I can keep my sanity. I'm only 25 miles south of the cesspool of Washington, so you guys do a great job and keep the truth rolling because things are starting to change in the country.
Well, I hope so.
I thank you for that.
Well, you're very welcome. I wouldn't have it any other way. I do like the truth very much, regardless of what it may be.
Yes. Just a couple of comments. Back in 2014, the IRS started, I believe, investigating Hunter Biden. My spouse worked for the Internal Revenue Service for 38 years. She's now retired. And for years I heard, just follow the money. Follow the money, and you will find out what's going on. So the rank and file at IRS did their job, but everybody above them, including FBI, Merrick Garland, they just made it all go away. They made it all go away.
Why do you think that is?
You guys run it. Yeah, because they're protecting the Bidens, obviously.
So you think it's crooked? We live in a very crooked city and a crooked country and a crooked time with a crooked president?
Extremely, Chris. I've never seen it this bad. I even talked to the folks older than me, and they are appalled. My mother is 95 years old, lives in western Pennsylvania, and she just can't believe.
None of us can, JR. God bless your mother.